Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to ask the question, are we going to see $120,000 Bitcoin by the end of December? Are we even going to see it at all? These are questions that we're going to look to uncover some probabilities, and we're going to look back in the charts to previous cycles. We're going to look at the current charts. We'll look at the liquidation heat map, bunch of other stuff. But of course, before we do all of that, if you're regular watcher of the show, you know I'm going to say smash that like button. This does help get this content out to more people, and of course does help support the channel. Do appreciate all the kind words and encouragements, words that you take the time to write it and I take the time to read it. And of course, those of you who ask questions in the comment section, I do get back to those as soon as I am able to. Of course, if you'd like to engage with me directly in the Stocks with Josh Discord, right in the description of this video, you might need to just underneath click the more button. It'll pop out the description there, and there, right there below, there are a couple of links there where you can get signed up to be with some of the most amazing people on the planet. I'm in the crypto channel there daily, engaging with some just incredible people in there, as well as the meme coin channel that is in there, aka the party zone. And I have my own Crown Traders channel in there as well, where I share education, insights, analysis, resources. I share some of my trade setups, as well, of course, as some entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Now, I am going to shut off my camera here because the lights went on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday. I ordered new lights and they have been delayed. They were meant to arrive yesterday and they did not arrive. They're meant to be arriving tomorrow sometime. So I'm going to push through. The show must go on without the lights, and we will continue on there actually to do our best to bring you that quality content. Okay, so first and foremost, let's jump into a Twitter post I posted just the other day. The last cycle in 2020, after drop around 10% on December 20th, Bitcoin recovered that drop by December 25th and then rallied into December 31 with around a 30% increase from the December 20th low. And so are we going to see that particular situation? And I showed just on, it was either Friday or Saturday, maybe even Thursday, I showed how if we did do that, then Bitcoin would reach around $120,000 by the end of the month. However, let's go back a little bit further and let's look at the 2016-2017 cycle. Bitcoin actually had the December drop on December 23rd, which is obviously today, and it dropped 7% drop, and it bottomed out on the 5th of December, and then it did pump through to the end of the year 15%. So two of the things in common, one of them, the two things that those cycles have in common is that there was a pump post-Christmas to the end of the year, okay? Whereas, of course, the 2016, it kind of dropped into Christmas, and in 2020, it did pump into Christmas from that December 20th drop. Now, we have had the drop on December the 20th, just like we did in 2020. So we had a drop on December 20th, just like we did in 2020 here in 2024, and that drop happened in 2023. Okay, and in 2016 and 2017, the drop, after that drop, there was a further drop on January the 5th, a drop around 35%, which bottomed out about a week later on the 12th, and then they're able to reclaim that January high from the 5th. It took a while, only by the 23rd of February, and of course that was a 70% pump from the drop from January 12th. So it seems to me that even after the December drop, that the January drop will still likely to take place historically, okay? So let's look at the charts there and see what happens, because so in 2017, there was a January 5th drop, and on January 2021, there was a 20% drop, and it recovered by about the January 22nd. So it took a little bit longer to recover. It looks like about 19 days to recover, where it took it took a little bit shorter time. It took about a week to recover on the previous cycle in 2016. So let's look at the charts and just see how that may play out. Now, we saw the drop here on December the 20th. Okay, we saw that December 20th drop there, the drop down December 19th. Actually, it looks like the drop actually started. Actually, if we go from the top, it was the 17th of December. So we saw a bit of a December 17th drop, and then a further drop on the 20th of December. Now we're having a drop currently into, after a bounce from around about that 92K level up to about K. Now, here's the thing. I've always taught about Bitcoin being in ranges and trading the ranges. This is clearly a top of a range. We had a deviation outside of the range. This was a bit of a fake out, and then we've come back into the range. Now we're back into the range, and we have seen really this since probably, let's look around here, the beginning of the month, for the range for the month has been about this 90K level upwards. And if you come back even a little bit further down than that, that's 88. So in reality, I do like these yellow lines here. Now, the yellow lines is where we have a double Fibonacci level. So this is really key support here, and this is key resistance. And even though we got above it, we didn't close above it. So right now, you can see we're trading between 92,000 and about 800 and about 97,900 or around and change, about that level. So that's where the most of the price action has been, in between these levels as of late, and then dating back to here. So what we can see from here is, if I was in trades, this would have been an area on a rejection here. This would have been a place to either get out of trades or reduce risk here. Okay, very simply. And what stops us is greed. Greed will stop us from taking profits and getting things off the table and de-risking. This is a clear rejection candle. I mean, look at this candle before it here. This is a bearish candle. It's got a long wick there, and then we get another wick here. Now, this was bullish. I agree. There was a bullish reversal candle here to hold up the price there, and this was a really good bounce. And people are saying, well, when's a good time to buy? Well, why weren't your buy orders set down here at 92? Why didn't you have more buy orders at 90 or at 88? They're 50-day moving averages there, and I don't even think we touched it. We came pretty close to it, but I don't think we came and pegged it. And historically, after a golden cross, and I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks, that the Bitcoin will always come back historically and retest the 50-day moving average. It's just at what point it does that. Obviously, it could have come and tested it back here at 85. It didn't quite come back and retest it yet. So we still have that retest in play. Now, of course, we can from here, from 95, we may push on up from here, and we may not get that retest until the January drop, which historically is going to come in that early January time. I would expect some kind of rally from now through to Christmas or post-Christmas through until the early part of the year, and it would be a short relief rally of that. And maybe that was it. Maybe this was our little relief rally here. This looks like a dead cat bounce to me. We dropped, and then we bounced, and then we're coming back, and we've almost retraced that entire move. 93, it got down to here, where we have 92. Okay, so let's have a look at historically what could happen from here with Bitcoin. Number one, if we kind of repeat the 2016 situation, we're going to continue to drop into Christmas. Okay, and we could see some further downside into Christmas. Number two, if we see it more like 2020, we're going to rally from here into Christmas and have some kind of a decent pump from here into Christmas. Those are the two options there. And then post-Christmas, if history repeats, we should see a little bit of a run, at least for 5 to 7 to 10 days there, where we could see a bit of a jump. And how much can Bitcoin jump? Well, look, we jumped from a 92 to about, we jumped around $8,000 in one single day on that bounce. So Bitcoin can move very quickly and violently to the upside. Now, will we retrace that entire move by the end of the year? That is a great question. And if we're hoping to see $120,000, I do think that possibly now could be off the table for, I think, a good goal to have would be retrace this move of $108,000 by the close of the year. However, this has been an area you've seen Bitcoin has just struggled around, even though we popped above it, got some clear rejections off there. We did broke down very heavily from there. And so if we did see this area here, this could be an area before a January drop where I'll probably look to take profits off the table, de-risk a little bit with an expectation that that January drop will happen. Now listen, just because it's happened before doesn't mean also that it's going to happen again, doesn't mean that it's going to happen on the same dates or that the drop will be as severe as it has been in previous years. Because of course we saw a 35% drop from January the 5th in 2017, and we saw around about a 20% drop, which eventually turned out to be a 30% drop, for Bitcoin in the month of January in 2021. So there was 30 to 35% drops. Now we haven't seen that yet, so my expectation would be that it would possibly be a little bit lower, but it just really depends where we could come down to. A lot of people have been talking about this $88,000 level. You see there's a Lux Algo order block. We know that the price of Bitcoin mining was about that level. I'd have to check the updated level, but it's going to be pretty close to here. So that had been always my little area there where I felt a correction could come to from there. Obviously, if we did see a correction from $108,000 down to that 88, that would give us, actually would only give us around an 18% correction. And why people are looking for this 83 to 85K level is because that would actually give us that 20% correction. And obviously coming down to 79,000 would give us still about a minus 26% correction, which would still be quite normal and in line with what we've seen previously. So that could mean that we come into around these areas by the end of the year, somewhere in here, maybe up to 108, and then come and have a severe drop down, or maybe we don't get as big pump. Maybe the December pump post-Christmas 6 days is only going to bring us back to this 100K, 101, 103, 105K area there. But at the moment now, based on what we've seen since this rally that we could continue, we got a clear rejection at 100K. It does feel that we will struggle to get to that 120K target. And I do feel that it's less likely that we repeat what happened in December 2020, and maybe a little bit more likely that we see maybe a little bit more like the start of 2016, where we dropped 7% and then we pumped 15%. Well, we've actually dropped, we've dropped more than 7%, of course. Let's see the drop here that we had down to, so we dropped around about that, what did we see? Around about that 13% level there of so forth. So it's a little bit more. So even a pump from here, if we did see a 15% pump from the low that we put in just the other day, if we were to see a 15% pump, that would bring us up to around about that $105,000 level there. And so that could be something a little bit more like what we could see, and that would actually be a little bit more bearish too, and would line us up for that January drop, because we would be setting in a little bit of a lower high there, a lower high. So that's very interesting there. But let's see what shakes out. So at the moment, we're going to see whether we're going to see a little bit of a pump into Christmas over the next couple of days, or whether we continue to drop into Christmas. Neither are going to be a surprise. I think we've got about a 50-50 chance of one way or the other, in my opinion. That's the way I'm seeing it. And then obviously post-Christmas to the end of the year, I think the probability that is more likely that we have a little bit of a jump, like we saw around that post-Thanksgiving time, where people all talk about their portfolios, and we see that, and then leading into a little bit of a January sell-off there. All right, let's have a look at the yellow brick road and the liquidation heat map and see if this can tell us a bit of a story. And this would possibly lead us, we've got some liquidations down there at $93,000, and to the upside up there at 96 and 97. And so this would, and again, down to the downside there at 93. So based off this, if I'm the market maker, we could get a repeat of 2016 where we drop into Christmas, or even if we drop down today, the 23rd, we've still got time to pump into Christmas. So let's say, I think in the short term, a drop to 93 and then a pump back up to that 97, 98,000, 99. Here's some more liquidation up the top at 98,400. And again, on the 48-hour time frame, we've got 93,600. It seems just, again, I can only tell you what I would do if I'm the market maker. I would follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And you do see these heat maps down here, 93 again. There's not a lot of yellow on the 3-day time frame and on the weekly time frame. And obviously we know, on the weekly time frame, boy, oh boy, we've got it down there at 92,400. There is some liquidity there, about 98 million. So if I am the market maker, that's where I'm looking to go, to 92,000 and 93,000, wipe out that liquidity, and then look to move it higher. But look at this right above on the weekly at 108,000. There is 94 million there again. So that could get tagged. What we could see is a move down to 92, 93, and then rally from here whenever we hit that 92, 93, whatever day that is, whether that's today or that's Christmas, and then rally up again to that 108,000, which is my new target, somewhere between 105 and 108,000 for the end of the year before we possibly come into a more bigger correction in the week of January. You can also go to the 3-month time frame. You can see there is a lot of liquidity left below this $90,000 level. There's 206 million at 90. There's another 138 million all the way down there, 81,000, and there is more below. So this got left behind, and that's why I say you can't always trade according to the yellow brick road, because some of that stuff at some points gets left behind, and then they'll come back and get it at a later time in the cycle, or even in the bear market it can be got. But you can see just on the short time frame, the clear move for me, if I'm the market maker, and again, I'm not the market maker, is I'm coming down and I'm taking out 95, I'm taking out 94, I'm taking out 93, I'm taking out 92, then I'm going to plunge that down, and then I'm going to push back up to take out these levels here. And of course, we could see a fake out where these levels get taken first, 97 and 98, before it plunges down. Obviously, that's something the market maker could do there. But we are closer there, obviously, to these liquidity levels at the top. So it's possibly we go up, and you say, oh, you said if you were the market maker. Well, again, I'm not the market maker. So those are the two options. But I do think this gets tagged, and then a possible move up to that $108,000 level or close to it come by the end of the year. That's what I would do if I was the market maker in this market there. All right, we're going to close out that video for today. Again, thanks so much for watching. Sorry about the lights. They should be here, hopefully in time for Christmas there. But of course, until the next episode, which will be the altcoin show coming up in a couple of hours, you do not want to miss that. I'm going to go over historically how altcoins have performed around this time of year and possibly what we might be able to expect there. But until then, happy trading.